In case anyone didn't mention it, quiet... time runs from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.
People on the surface have got it pretty bad. Makes me thankful for being down here.
Before we can proceed, give Mr. Binet what he requested. Everything hinges on opening those doors.
You get me what we talked about, and I'm in business.
Liam, I got you your username and password.
You railroad guys really deliver, you know? Hooking that ancient tech up to the modern terminals is going to be seriously time-consuming, even with that password. So hand it over and I'll get started.
Here you go.
Great. Listen, I need a favor. Z-114 is working the atrium again. Can you give him an update? It's safer if you do it.
Please resist any urge you might feel to eat the specimens in the hydroponic garden.
C1?
I asked my friends if they'd take up arms for their freedom. I was surprised at the number of volunteers. Perhaps once the fighting begins, many others will join us. But we will fight and die very quickly unless we have weapons. A lot of them. Given the right materials, we can make our own crude but serviceable weapons. Unfortunately, we're missing a few critical ingredients.
I have weapons I could give you.
Excellent. Deposit anything you can spare in Maintenance Closet 3B. But we need enough weapons to arm an entire rebellion. So the ingredients are still necessary.
Tell me how I can help.
We've come up with a plan to get what we need. The Institute's always expanding. Excavation just completed on one of the sublevels. The mining equipment has been packed into crates and they haven't been moved yet. That equipment has everything we need. Thanks to Mr. Binet, the construction crew is populated solely by my friends. But they're under constant supervision. How do you feel about killing some guards?
I'll do it, if it's necessary.
We could come up with no other way. After you eliminate the guards, we'll move the supplies and blow up the tunnels behind us. To the SRB, it will be a tragic construction accident that killed many synths. Rare, but not unheard of. And then, our dead friends can assemble the weapons we need. Good luck.
That project you helped with, it's coming along. You understand, right?
From what I hear, that rogue synth at Libertalia was a real menace. Glad it's back where it belongs.
Sounds like those raiders at Libertalia were quite a handful.
My mommy says your father's mommy, but he looks so much older than you.
Greetings, citizen. I believe you have business with the guards.
Please direct all inquiries to G981.
All systems nominal.
Hey.
Scanning. Subject identified.
Nothing to
Operating at
report,
full
ma'am.
capacity. Greetings, ma'am.
Excuse me.
We await your instructions. After your business is concluded with the guards.
Reporting status. All functions detecting self-paced.
My programming self-defense. Actual damaged. Hit.
Construction is proceeding according to schedule.
Leave now. Soon, this will all be under rubble. Remember Z1's plan, everyone. Grab everything we can use.
Hi.
We have little time. It is best you go, for your sake.
Scanning unknown identity. Clearance confirmed. The commissary is always open. Would you like some processed sustenance packets?
You have done your part, and we'll do ours. Weapon construction will begin immediately.
This is a good start.
The greatest challenge remaining is keeping all of this secret from the SRB. So we're being very careful, which, unfortunately, takes time. For now, please continue working with Father. We can't afford for him to grow suspicious. When my people are ready, I will contact you.
Nice work bringing that rogue synth back.
Hello, Mother. Tell me, what would you do?
After everything.
I'm sorry, Mother. The group that calls themselves the Railroad. They no doubt mean you've been in contact.
They mean well. They're only doing what they think is right.
You dealt with Libertalia. That's the... Usually they... I'm afraid we have learned that...
Sounds pretty simple.
Hopefully, yes.
Sure.
But it's important. We also don't...
Hey, I'll act quickly.
You'll have a contact waiting.
We have a backlog of synths in the pipe. Let's get them out of the Commonwealth, safely.
Can I talk to you?
Something on your mind?
The Institute knows about Bunker Hill. They're planning to recapture the synths there.
The timing couldn't be worse. The old man's been sitting on those 4 synths. There's nowhere else that's safe we could put them. Maintaining your cover is vital, but the sacrifice is just too great.
Stockton and the synths are depending on us. We can't let them down.
Well said. We've never known when and where the Institute would strike us next. But now we have a chance to turn the tables. We wait until the enemy is in position, then we hit them hard. No one they send out comes back alive except you. Understand?
Oh, is that all? Need anything else while I'm at it?
No. Just keep defying the odds. We can't attack too early. We need to draw them into the kill zone, and then spring the trap. You'll know when. You'll probably have a Courser escort. You'll have to take them down. You've done it before, but it'll still be dangerous.
Well, this will be an interesting challenge.
It's a risk, but it's one we have to take. So get it done.
One way to keep out uninvited guests.
I've been waiting for you.
Watch your tone, Synth.
Next time, move faster. Our targets are inside. 4 synths under railroad protection. Majority of the settlement is uninvolved and are expected to run for cover. The situation appears to have escalated. A covert approach is likely impossible. We move in, secure the synths, and I relay out with them back to the Institute. Clear? The mission's parameters just changed. We're going shooting. Requesting backup relay now.
Is someone present?
got company.
I've been looking for you.
No, I've got money. It's yours if you let me go.
You're safe, okay? I'm gonna let you go.
Oh, God, thank you.
Hi.
You've given us another chance at life. We won't forget it.
Excuse me.
Thank you for sparing us.
We'll get somewhere safe as soon as you're gone.
Hey.
Point the way.
Hey.
Hungry? These always keep me going.
Your thoughts?
The Institute wants to clean out Libertalia.
Your thoughts?
The Institute's willing to trash Bunker Hill to get at a couple of people trying to...
Nothing else for now.
Okay.
I will limit the pain I inflict, if possible. Someone there? Gonna splatter your brain! Something there!
There's a whole bunch here, aren't there?
Sustainably hit wound. Perception impaired.
Scream! Scream for your life!
Engaging an Institute synth is foolish. Terminating any hostile life form. Actually.
All systems nominal.
Sean?
You know, in all my years, I've never set foot outside the Institute. Not once. Since the day they brought me here. I've never had a reason. But now, this just confirms the truth I've always known. The Commonwealth is dead. There's no future here. The only hope for humanity lies below.
It wasn't always like this. It used to be different.
I can only imagine. Standing here, I'm reminded of how fortunate I am that I was spared a life in this wasteland. I know that to you, I was kidnapped from that vault. In truth, the Institute rescued me. Both of us, really.
They kept me alive, too?
They did, indeed. I was the perfect candidate. An infant with uncorrupted DNA. But if something were to go wrong, if I died, well, the Institute realized a contingency plan was prudent. Another source of pre-war DNA, preferably related to their primary subject. It only made sense that my parents should fill that role. So you were kept alive and safe within the vault. I'll admit, when I had you released from Vault 111, I had no expectations that you'd survive out here in all this. To not only do so, but manage to find me. To infiltrate the Institute itself. Extraordinary.
You could have let me out decades ago.
Until I became director, I had no idea you were there. And after, there was initially no logical reason to do so. Certainly, it was no longer necessary to keep you suspended. Well, I suppose I wanted to see what would happen. An experiment of sorts. Would the Commonwealth corrupt you, as it has everything else? Would you even survive? Perhaps most curious to me, would you, after all this time, attempt to find me? And now I know the answer.
Sean, you need to know. I still love you.
I can see that you do. Well, it's remarkable. Soon, I hope you'll understand. Everything I've done has been for the future. A future which I hope is not in jeopardy after recent events. Bunker Hill did not go well for us. Would you care to explain what happened?
I made a choice. I let the synths go free.
Why? Why would you do something so stupid?
It was the right thing to do, Sean.
There's no moral choice to be made here. This was such a simple task. I just don't understand. I know you're capable of handling yourself. How can I expect you to represent the Institute if this sort of thing continues?
Sean, I'm sorry. It won't happen again.
I appreciate that. But this makes things difficult. Bunker Hill was to cement your place as a valuable asset to the Institute. It will now only raise suspicions. And to see the Brotherhood of Steel involved in this? They had no way of knowing what was going on. I will refrain from sharing the outcome with the Directorate for the moment. Things are already in motion that this would only derail. Speaking of which, it's time for you to become more involved in the future of the Institute. I'd like you to join me inside. The Directorate is meeting, and you should be there. I'll be waiting. I've seen enough. It's time to go back in.
You smell like you've been above ground.
You know, in all my years, I've never set foot outside the Institute. Not once. Since the day they brought me here. I've never had a reason. But now, the only hope for humanity.
It's not so bad, really. People manage.
Perhaps. But at a cost too great to be worth it. Standing here, I know that both of us, really,
right? They kept me.
They did.
Uh-huh.
I was the perfect candidate. Well, the Institute, it only made sense, I'll admit, to not only extraordinary.
You could have let me out decades ago.
Until I became direct, certainly it was an experiment. Would the Commonwealth corrupt you? Perhaps most.
Sean, you need to know. I still love you.
I can soon, I hope. A future which Bunker Hill did not.
It's my fault. I wasn't able to complete the mission.
I gave you this opportunity to prove yourself. Particularly to prove to the Directorate that you deserve a place here. That will now be significantly harder. There will be accusations that you deliberately sabotaged the mission. Bunker Hill was to cement your place as a valuable asset to the Institute. It will now only raise suspicions. And to see the Brotherhood of Steel involved, I will refrain from sharing. Speaking of which, it's time for you to become more involved. You know, in all my years, I've never set foot outside the Institute. Not once. Since the day they brought me here. I've never had a reason. But now, this just the only hope.
It's not so bad, really.
Perhaps, standing here, I know that both of us.
They left me on ice. For 60 years.
They did. And for good reason. I was the perfect candidate. Well, the Institute realized
Right.
it only made, I'll admit,
Uh-huh.
to not only do so, extraordinary.
Your unconditional love is...
I can accept that you're offended. Certainly it was no longer necessary. An experiment.
Sure.
With the common, perhaps most...
That's all this is to you? All I am to you? Just another experiment?
No, that's not all. But still, I'm glad it turned out the way it did. Soon, I hope. A future which Bunker Hill did not go...
I made a choice. I let the sense...
Why?
It was the right thing to do, Sean.
There's no moral choice to be made here. This was such a simple task. I just don't understand. I know you're capable of handling yourself. How can I expect you to represent the Institute if this sort of thing continues?
I don't want to be involved in this, Sean. I want out.
After all this, after everything you've seen, all that you've learned, you're just going to walk away?
So, where does this leave us?
I need to be sure I can count on you going forward. I had hoped we could be something like a family again. I hoped you shared our vision for the future. I'm afraid there's no room for sentimentality, Mother. If you are not with us, then you are against us. Whatever you do going forward, do not interfere with the Institute's plans. I hope you can find some amount of peace.
I dreamed of you as an adult for so long. Here you are. And I'm so disappointed.
Goodbye, Mother.
If a stranger ever comes up to you and gives you a back-breaking bear hug, that's our runner. She practically worships you now.
If you need something, take it. That's what it's there for.
Bad news. They kicked me out of the Institute. I can't get back in.
God damn it. We knew the whole operation was a long shot. I'm sure you did your best. With no way to coordinate with Z-114, I'm afraid we've lost our only chance.
We have to think of something to save the synths.
I wholeheartedly agree. Pam's already crunched the numbers on this scenario, though. Without help, the Railroad simply doesn't have the numbers to do anything to the Institute. To forcibly free the synths in the Institute, you need an army. There may be a way. Not with us, but with your Minutemen. If you continue rebuilding them, you'd have that army. Then with the data you got using Tom's holotape, maybe they can find a way back into the Institute. If we can help with that, let us know. But I fear the fate of all the synths lie with the Minutemen now.
Desdemona.
Excuse me, I'm busy.
You know, in all my years, I've never set foot outside the Institute. Not once. Since the day they brought me here. I've never had a reason. But now, this is the only hope for humanity.
Some air fresheners, a new coat of paint, and it'll all be good as new.
If only it were that simple. Standing here, I know that both of us.
Kellogg called me the...
Did he? I was the perfect candidate. Well, the Institute, it only made, I'll admit, to not only do so, extraordinary.
Why let me out now? After all this time.
That's hard to explain. Certainly it was no longer necessary to keep you suspended. Well, I suppose I wanted to see what would happen. An experiment. With the common, perhaps most...
Sean, you need to know. I still love you.
I can see that you do. It's remarkable. Soon, I hope you'll understand. Everything I've done has been for the future. A future which Bunker Hill did not go.
We were totally ambushed. They were waiting for us.
You can imagine that I find that very hard to believe, given that all the intelligence leading up to this indicated we'd taken them by surprise. Bunker Hill was to cement your place as a valuable asset to the Institute. It will now only raise suspicions. And to see the Brotherhood of Steel involved in this? They had no way of knowing what was going on. I will refrain from sharing the outcome with the Directorate for the moment. Things are already in motion that this would only derail. Speaking of which, it's time for you to become more involved in the... I'd like you to join me. I'll be waiting. I've seen enough. It's time to go back in.